again, this is what I use. So this turns rust into a paintable material. So basically it kills the rust and it turns it into a primed material to paint over. Gloss protective enamel. I like enamel paint for projects like these because it's very tough. The gloss looks good. I'm using it because it's what I have on hand. Now for something like this, you can use any enamel. It could be gloss, flat, whatever, because you're not going to be able to see it either way. But for areas that I can see, like how I did the interior over there, I like to use gloss. It's my favorite. If your favorite's flat or satin, so be it. They do make a satin enamel. I have never seen it in person yet, though. I've only seen the gloss, semi-gloss, and the flat. I really like how the gloss turns out, so I use gloss a lot. This, again, I just like to do everything as best as I can. So, you grind it down and then you spray this. So this will kill anything that for some reason I didn't get completely good in these little divot holes. It's going to kill it and turn it into a primed material. So let's get right into it. All right. Rust Reformer is on. And you can see it turns it into a flat black primer. It looks really good. And you can leave it like that, to be honest. You do not, and it even says on the bottle, you do not have to paint over this. I like to, though, because it gives it another coat of protection. Alright guys, now I'm tackling the back hatch glass and the rubber trim. So what I'm doing is I'm spraying alcohol and I'm scraping off all that old goop. So watch how easy it is. A little alcohol, boom, 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 sprayed it, let it sit for a second. And you can see how much is coming off. So I'm going to do that all the way around, as many times as I have to. And then what I'm going to do is try to get in these grooves as best as possible. Back here as best as possible in these grooves. And then use some 303 on it. And re-put it on all the way around. And I'm not going to install it yet. I'm letting the 80 dry because it still has the enamel. It's still wet. But this is the last piece before the install. Glass is done. Looking clean. Rubber is over here drying. I just sprayed the 303 on it. It's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better. There's still some crud in there a little bit. But for the most part, I got a lot of it out. And I mean, yeah, there's a couple little tears here and there on it. But for the most part, this is pretty good. I think I'm going to reuse it. And for some reason, if it seems a little off to me, I can always take it back off and replace it. But let that dry and we'll reinstall and we'll go over the final thoughts. And glass and rubber back on. Looking good. Now I just got to install it. So a little key thing I'm going to show you guys. So basically, I'm going to pop it in here, but then remember that lip, aka this lip, has to come back over this metal piece right here, right? And that's how it kind of stays in. So how I'm going to do that is you use a little rope, shoestring, whatever you have. I have this, and you simply put it in that groove all the way around and leaving a little bit out, and I'll show you what it does. Okay, so kind of just set it up there, right? You want the strings to go on the inside, and what's gonna happen is, you see, I need this lip to pull over. So I'm gonna start it without videotaping, and I'm gonna show you how it does. Alright, so it's kind of hard to videotape and do this at once, but you can see I got the corner over. All I did is push down, and you can get the first little corner worked in. Now, let's see how this works. So, you take this, and what it's going to do is, you can see it, it's pulling that lip where it needs to go into place. And then, what you do behind it is push. It works a lot better if you have two people, but it's just me. So all it is really pulling that string, which is going to pull that lip out, and then you push the window on the same spot to get the lip over that metal lip. So the rubber lip needs to go over that metal lip. Alright, so I'm running into a little problem behind the third brake light. As you can see how it kind of starts to veer up. I'm not able to get back there to get it a tight seal, which is kind of going to mess up the rest of this. So I'm going to take this off right now. It looks like it's just 2 bolts, and I'm going to pull it off so I can tighten that seal back there. And got it off. So the 2 bolts are 8 millimeters. Pretty easy to get off. Then there's just one connection, which was a little pain in the ass to get off, but you know, just wiggled it enough and it came right off. And now you can see, boom, that was my issue. So now, all I have to do is slowly work that in and over. And we have a little rust up here. So, yeah, I'll probably hit that real quick. But, just a little update. Wow, so that was a pain in my butt. So, what I had to do is, as this was in here, going this way, pulling this lip over, I also had to push from the outside on this, because there was air pockets while I was doing that. But the string trick works really well. Looks good. The only thing I did is I kind of rushed, and I wish I would have put these body panels, you know, got all this off and put these body panels back on before I did the rubber. Because now I'm going to have to lift this rubber up again and put them on, but I don't know. Maybe that'll be easier. Who knows? We'll see. So, last part I got to do is just put these 2 little body panels back on, put this plastic trim back on, and once I get all that done, I will let you guys see the final results. Alright guys, almost done with this rear hatch. So I just sprayed, if you remember those bolts. No, they're not great. Yeah, I know. Maybe I missed some spots. But they're a hell of a lot better than they were. So I just sprayed that down with some rust reformer to get it somewhat decent. I probably will be spraying it with gloss. Just waiting for that to dry a little bit more. Got the side panels on. So this one was easy. I didn't take off the old sticky stuff because it was still sticky. So I decided to keep it on and just press it back in. This one, I took and stripped the whole thing off on the other side, and I don't know, it's not great, but I used a couple double-sided tape in here. It's not really working great, it's not bad. I'm pretty happy. I might put one more inside there, and to be honest, I'm not really super caring of that. For all I care, that could even honestly just be taken off. So besides letting that dry and respraying up there a little bit, the only thing I got left to do is to clean off the plastic trim for this. And we'll be basically done. This came out pretty good actually, for what it is. You can see there from the sanding, there is a slight gap right there. I'm not really concerned with it. I might not use maybe some primer or something as such. I don't know, we'll see. I even thought about maybe putting in some sealant inside the crease in here, like a weather sealant, but I'm not sure if I want that or not. I'm gonna do some more research first. But after letting that dry in there, my final thing, maybe the very last thing, is I'm going to try to use painter's tape and edge this, so cover this rubber thing, rubber seal, should I say. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through here with probably some Herculiner. It doesn't look bad right now, but you can see where I sprayed the rust inhibitor because it's dull, where the Raptor liner is shiny. And I have some Herculiner in an aerosol can, and it looks pretty good, and it blends really well with the Raptor liner. So I'll probably do that around the edges, from there to here. Not really on the top, but then here to here. But overall, looks pretty good. It took me about a day of working off and on to get that where it is. I'm really happy because now I know that the rust that was under here, those couple spots, are taken care of, because this was a big concern of mine. I still do have to take off the wing and do the same. Make sure there's no rust underneath, and then take care of any that is. And then I still have to do this back window, which I know I'm going to have to replace the rubber seals. I'm probably going to have to replace the frame as well, because it's pretty messed up looking from out here. My big thing with this is I'm not sure yet if I want to keep it a sliding window like it is, or I'm thinking about really doing one of those hatches where it's a piece of plexiglass and then you just lift it up with air shocks. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But once that is done, that wing, and I still got to finish that, and I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to end this video by finishing the seal. The wing will be another quick video, and that will be another video. But then the rear will be basically done from the outside. You know, I've done everything up to that second row seats. Next would be taking off the second row seats and doing the same thing for the floor. Going to the front, doing the same thing. And eventually, I will take the headliner off and do the roof as well inside. But right now, I'm more worried about floors, sides, and I'm just going to keep going panel by panel. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, I still got to do that last little bit. All right, guys. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's taped off. It has a couple coats. Herculiner. Again, Herculiner isn't perfect per se, but I'm not trying to get a perfect paint job either, right? But this is a pretty good match to Raptor liner. I actually haven't tried the Raptor liner yet in a can. I will be trying that soon because I'm just curious how it looks compared to the Herculiner. Herculiner is pretty cheap, pretty easy to get a hold of. The Raptor liner is quite a bit more, so I'm guessing it's probably sprays out a little bit more of a rougher texture. The Herculiner does spray a rough texture, but it's not as big of clumps like this. It's smaller. But again, it blends really well, I think. So I'm going to let those couple of coats dry a little bit more, and then I think I'm going to put maybe 1 or 2 more coats. In a perfect world, what I would have done is on these corners, to build it up a little bit better, I would have done a filler primer, probably about 3 to 4 coats, sanded that a little bit by hand, and then used the Herculiner with multiple coats. Same thing over here. And I could still do that, you know, I could still go back over the Herculiner. Same thing with here, because you can see it's a little uneven where I grinded a little bit more than everywhere else. But it's really hard to see. Alright, sun's a setting. So that'll be it for today on this. Tomorrow we will do a couple more coats and we'll finish this video up. Alright guys, it's the next morning. Let's take a look at that rear hatch. So boom. It's looking great, guys. And see what I said? How Herculiner matches the Raptor liner really well. Like I said, the only thing is you can see it is like gritty, but not as chunky as this, which is to be expected, you know what I mean? Like this is coming out of a sprayer versus an aerosol can, right? An aerosol can can only fit so much through that little nozzle. But you don't even really notice it. Up close you do. Like I said, I could tape this spot over again and build it up with some filler primer, which would be probably fairly easy. Same thing with this spot. Same thing with all these spots. And that would be really easy, I think. It would probably take like maybe 3, maybe 5, I don't know, somewhere around there. Coats of that primer to build up. A little Toyota. You know, it took me forever to realize that that's for a lock. Never realized it. So we actually have the gold ones. So I'm actually thinking about, and I think they discontinued these gold ones now. So I'm thinking about taking these off and respraying these. And then when I do that, spray this with Herculiner. It's looking good, good, good. Again, now that is more of a concern than those other parts because it's a little gap to where water could seep in. I'm not sure if I'm really concerned with it, though. The only other thing I can see that I'm not in love with is it's tight, 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 and then it looks like it gets a little bit loosey-goosey, a little bit right there. Got the brake light back on. That looks good. Sprayed all that. Got the rear plastic piece back on. Only had to put on one new clip for that. The only thing inside is this thing did not want to stick. Oh, there we go. So, see that gap? There we go. That should not be there. Because I could not get this thing to stay. Save my life.
So maybe I just need to buy some stronger double-sided tape or something. I don't know. We'll see. And then there are some spots in here that could use some filler as well. If you remember that there was some kind of like Bondo material, but I'm not really too concerned with it. And the only other thing is, I'm still not sure what's supposed to go right here. I'll have to try to figure that out, but I'm missing whatever that is. See the gaps. But like I said, overall, I'm pretty happy. I might have to fill those in, though. I'm not really sure, because I'm wondering if water seeps in there. There's nowhere really for it to drain. It'll just kind of get stuck in there. But it wasn't really hard to take off either, so maybe it's one of those things where once every year I just take it off. I don't know. And I still got to decide if I want to put on a new Land Cruiser badge right here or not. But that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you know a better way, or maybe you know that, hey, I should fill those spots in for sure, because if not, rust will happen or something crazy. Let me know. If you know what goes on to that the little twisty metal piece inside the hatch, let me know in the comments below, because that would be awesome. But besides that, I will see you all later. Thumbs up.